doing entertaining things. But I feel like 60 or whatever for a handful for a math class recording is not terrible. But listen, if you miss a day of class, I'm recording. I'm putting it on YouTube so you can see that. It's been about 40 or 45 minutes each day that I've recorded. But the check your understanding, the Sphero model, right? Remember, mild, medium, and spicy questions trying to build you up through what you need to be able to do. So the vocabulary is straight from the textbook, right? It's the pages we tore out of the textbook. Here, what the researcher wants to know, remember that's the characteristic of interest, the collection of all individuals in a study, or what the collection of all individuals we want to know about is population, small group, sample. So we need to pay attention to this and do this. And it's not just something I'm abandoning you on. When you attempt it, what can you do immediately? Check it, right? I've given you the answers at the end of this packet. And so when I give y'all a chance to come in and ask questions at the beginning of class, hey, what's a question you have about the unit? What is a question you have from Check Your Understanding? The expectation is that we do those things to make sure that you know what you're doing. I'm not giving you a grade for it because I don't want it to be a punishment. But if you're going to be successful, you got to put in the work. Hard work pays off. And we got to keep that in mind. So we should have been able to do, or should have, all of this done. And realistically, is that a ton of work, guys?
No.
No, it's not. Okay? If you need to get through this practice and you have questions, you ask it. If you need more practice, let me know. Right? Types of studies. There's only 3 types of studies we've talked about. There's more than that. But there's 3 types. What are the 3 types? Samples, survey, observational study, and experiment. Notice in this mild section, notice how I circled some key phrases because it's mild, it's trying to build you up to identify. Then in this medium section, I just gave you the study designs and you had to identify, and I gave you the solutions later. And for the spicy, I said create a statistical question of interest for you and identify the best study. So that's something that is dependent upon you. If you attempted that, you could ask that question, say, hey, Mr. Kenny, what would this be? Down here, selecting samples. This is the only thing we haven't done yet for study design. The other 2 sets of Frere models and Check Your Understanding questions, you should have completed. Everything on this proficiency scale, except for simple random sample, subjective sample, convenience sample, we should actually already have marked off. And explaining the importance of randomization in studies. We have done everything except for those 4 details. So if you look at this proficiency scale and you're like, man, there's something I don't understand here, you need to ask that question. If you do your Check Your Understanding questions and you're like, man, I didn't know how to do that, or I have no clue how Mr. Kenny got this, you need to ask those questions. I'm here to help you grow and to learn and be the most successful you can be. But I need you to make sure you're putting in the hard work as well. Hard work pays off. All right. Getting into today, though. Yep, that one. All right. Nope, for some reason I forgot to take off Mathematician Mondays and Smartphone article for y'all, but that was yesterday. So we're about to analyze This Is America by Childish Gambino, right? I will say, while we watch the video in a second, because yes, I want to make sure we're all familiar with the song at least a little bit. I'm going to have to turn off the recording because obviously I can't post that video as part of the recording, but I'll turn it back on afterwards. So the last thing to better understand bias and to understand those different types of sampling is one more activity. And then we're going to get into the next part of this unit for normal distributions. And so we're going to do the curious case of Joy Milne to see what a normal distribution kind of is and why it actually matters. All right, so as I already mentioned, the only things that we have not at least tackled in class or talked about is the randomization in 3 of these different types of samples. Okay, and so we're about to do that right now. So song analysis. So I already have given you the lyrics for This Is America by Childish Gambino. That was really cute, the one. I'm glad you're so focused. But before we watch this video, actually we'll watch the video first, okay, and then I'll ask this question. All right, so This Is America. And Okay.
I've never heard of this song.
Okay. Hey, seriously, it's been like 5 seconds. Chill. Listen, this is not for kicks and giggles. This is to help you better learn about some important statistical principles. And so we are going to analyze this song. We're talking all over her. What are you trying to say, Makaria?
I was about to say
Makaria. Makari.
Statistics.
Makari. It was that trying to talk. Let's respect that. It's okay.
Statistical.
Makari, what are you trying to say?
How much money does the average black man make?
Okay, so that's a good question. Very interesting, especially because we can compare that to other data. But I just meant looking at these lyrics. Something about these lyrics that we could talk about. Jamie.
How many times he say this is America?
Okay, how many times does he say this is America? That'd be kind of tough to just know, right? But we might be able to get a sample and make a prediction off of that. Okay? Vakari?
How many times does he say, I know you want a party?
Okay. So you can go through and count that. Okay, how about this? Say it again, Dewan. How many letters are in each word, or what is the average length? You can do average length of verses, but I'm going to go off what Dewan was saying, because this is what I've most easily prepared for. What is the average length of each word? And what we mean by that is how many letters per word, okay? Now, I got to point this out. Do you know how many words there are in this song?
C17.
If you notice, right, I've actually identified every single word in this song every 2 lines or so. And so the last 2 lines are words 600 to word 610. So do you want to go through all 610 words and find the average length of each of those words? That's a hard pass for me, right? That does not sound like a fun time. But we are going to try to find what is the average length of each word. So we want to know about the average length of all words, right? What do we say all words are? That is my population, okay?
I'll say that everything.
You think the average is 4?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think the characteristic of interest is?
That'd be tricky.
Average length of words. Okay? And what do I still need?
Sample.
I need a sample, right? And so here's what we're actually going to do. We're going to do a few different types of samples, but every sample is going to consist of 5 words. And so what I want you to do is I want you to look at these lyrics, and I want you to pick one line at random and take the first 5 words off that line. So for example, I'm going to take the line that starts with word 180. So word 180 is don't. 181 is catch.
Okay.
182 is you. 183 is slipping. And 184 is now, right? So if I want to know the average letters per word, how many letters, what do I need to do, I guess? I need to count all the letters, right? I need to add up, right? Notice how we add those things together. So how many letters are there here?
4. 5. 3.
And so I need to add them up. So
22.
22?
Yeah.
And then what do I need to do to that 22?
Divided
Divide by 5, right? So to average something, we add them all up, divide by how many there are. Do you know what the symbol is for average? Like there's a symbol that means
The X with the
X with
the line at top.
Chart. Specifically, this is known as a sample mean.
Okay.
We call it a sample mean because it's not the population mean, right? It's not all of the words, it's just those 5 words. And so we're going to talk about sample means here. And so I'm going to get 22 divided by 5, which is 4.4 letters per word. Okay? So there's 2 things I need you to be aware of. You're going to want to use a calculator for this. in a second because it's going to help you and you're going to hit Control Enter. I will say this, there's only 23 of us right now, so I should have enough calculators. However, I am missing a calculator, so if you accidentally put one in your backpack, please look for it, or if you know what happened to it, please make sure it gets back. I need those calculators to teach. But everyone will want a calculator. I want you to pick one line at random and average the number of words in that line. After we do that, we're going to create a dot plot just like this, okay? So I'm going to create one just for y'all, and I'm going to create a number line, and you're going to put a dot above that line to indicate how long your word was. Does that make sense? Or how the average length of your words. Yes, ma'am?
We're doing individually or grouping?
So you're going to do it individually, but then we're going to bring all of our data together on the board, okay? So if you need help, talk to the people in your group. So Jamie, I will point that out. Just because you're doing your own line does not mean you don't help the other people in your group if they need it and I'm not there.
Okay.
Okay? So we need to pick out one line and how many words? 5. If there's not 5 words in that line, go down to the next line.
You want to do something back, right on the back?
Say again?
Write something back.
Sure, you can write it on the back. Yep, that'll work.
I can tell. I can tell.
So what you say we need?
I got
Is there anybody, hey guys, let's bring it back, bring it back. Is there anybody who has not gotten their dot up here yet? They need to tell me what the dot is, put it up here. Okay, if you are finishing calculating in a second and need to tell me what it is, let me know. But let's look at this. So, the first 5 words in a line. First off, I want to point this out. Just picking a line and going with 5 words, that was pretty easy, wasn't it? Okay, so another word for easy is convenient. Okay, and so, say that again. Convenient sample, you think that's one of the words we should know? I don't know. How about you look at your proficiency scale? Does anyone see a word or a vocabulary term that involves convenient?
Yes.
Yes? What is it? Convenient sample, right? Something that is easy to collect data on is called a convenient sample, okay? So this is convenient or easy, and so we're going to call this a convenient sample. By the way, there is a Frere model called sampling or collecting samples or something like that. By the end of this, we need to fill it out. You don't need to do it yet, but that's why I call this a convenient sample. Now, more importantly, I want you to look at this. Based on the data that is on the board, based on those dots, what do you think the average length of each word for the entire set of words might be?
3 to 4.
3 to 4? Now, why are you thinking 3 to 4? That's where the majority are, right? But don't we have a whole bunch of data values over here? We've got several though, don't we? You remember how we did the average to get each of these dots? Could I do the average of each of those dots? Or all dots here? And if I were to try to average those dots to estimate it, I'm going to go out on a limb because one thing to be aware of is a few data values far to one side will actually pull the average that way. So based on this data, even though we have a cluster here, more than likely my average is going to be somewhere in this region. Notice it's kind of in the middle of all the dots, right? So it's not just where the cluster is, it's kind of in the middle and pulled a little bit towards those bigger values. It may even be closer to like 4.3. Does that make sense? So based on this sample, we're thinking mu might be about 4.2. Just kind of estimating, right? By the way, sorry, I should have clarified this. X bar, that's a what? Sample mean. This symbol right here is mu, a Greek letter mu, and that means the population mean. Okay? So based on these sample means, I believe the population mean might be about 4.2. Does that make sense? It's just one way to try to figure that out. Okay? Now let's look at another way to do this, another sample. What I want you to do now, remember, I need to clarify this. Don't forget, with an observational study, which, by the way, why is this observational and not one of the other two?
Because we're trying to get an average.
Not just I'm looking for an average.
We're observing the lyrics.
I'm not asking questions, right? So if I'm not asking questions, it's not a what?
Sample.
Sample survey, okay? Why is it not an experiment?
Cause you're not.
We're not like observing it.
Cause and effect.
I'm not looking for cause and effect, I'm not applying treatments, okay? With an observational study, by the way, what's the goal? To make an inference about a... Oh, so I'm using samples here to make an inference about the population, okay? So that's our goal, it's an observational study. And so, what do we need our samples to be to make good inferences? They need to be, it's an R word.
Replicated.
Close.
Oh,
Representative. Remember, if they're biased, we got crap data. We need them to be representative so they look like the population. So my challenge to you right now is, I want you to pick 5 words that you think might represent the average word length. Pick 5 words that you think might represent the average word length. Average the number of letters per word. And then let's get that data up here. So I'm going to make a new graph. Okay? So here's a new one. And so I need you to put it on this new one here.
Can you repeat that what you just said?
Pick 5 words
Right.
you think would represent the average word length for the song.
Okay, they would just put it up
And then
here.
you're going to put that dot up here on this
Average
blue
word, okay.
graph.
Okay.
Okay?
What is that, come on? You know, I'm curious.
Okay? So
You
put
you
your
record
average
this?
in there.
You recording? Oh, yes.
Yes. Sorry, I'm recording this. You thinking 5 words yet?
Thinking.
Dog, you ain't even looking at the paper, you can't be thinking that hard.
I'm thinking very
And by the way, guys, it doesn't have to be 5 words in a row. It needs to be any 5 words that you think when you average that word length, they'll give you that average length of words in the song. So you got to be looking here. Pick 5 words. By the way, maybe underline those 5 words or circle those 5 words so that you know what you're averaging out. Yes. Yep, so you pick any 5 words that you think might give you the average, true average word length of the song. Yes, Tyler. Just, it's not right or wrong. We're going to learn a concept. So pick 5 words that you think might give you the average word length of the song.
Out to the road.
You ain't got what Jackson say, can you go for that?
I know that.
Yeah, do it right now, do it right. I got 4.
Now, hold on. I just told you, I need you to pick any 5 words, not 5 words in a row.
Yeah, I know, I was doing it like, 'cause that one has 2, that one has 4, that one has 5, like.
But I want you to pick 5 words throughout the song that you think.
I can do like.
So like not 5, hey guys, again, listen. Hey, pause and listen. Not 5 words in a row. Any 5 words in the song, and I want them spread out.
Okay.
I want them spread out throughout the song. So not 5 words in a row.
Oh. So we just find out what's our.
So yes, exactly. There we go. So Kamaya, listen guys, Kamaya has an example. She said so I can pick like one up. And what was the other one? Hunted, right? Pick 5 words throughout the song, anywhere in the song that you think represent the average word length. Okay, so put a new dot if you're repicking words.
Any 5 words.
Say what time?
I'm going to explain how you're doing it. Just do the thing I'm asking you.
Yeah, that's why I don't
Okay.
So you see, so that clock.
Pick any 5 words. There you go. That's how you pick 5 words.
And you need to pay back.
No. Yes, please do it again. You did not pick 5 random words. So think 5 random words, not 5 words in a row. You have to hurry. Come on, pick 5 words, it's not hard. Pick 5 words.
What's the name?
Huh? But it's
Somebody dropped the name tag.
So,
Oh, okay, from the phone.
thank you for putting that up. Alright, so looking at this set of data from before lunch. Okay? Looking at this set of data from before lunch. Come on, J-Mike, we gotta get you for the bell rings.
Yes.
What do you now think that the population mean might be? You think it might be what?
Bottom like 5.
Oh, so like this is kind of the middle of this set of data points, right? But then I got almost 8 and a little over 9, so instead of here, maybe here at 5 letters per word, right? So mu is 5 letters per word. And notice I'm going to put a question mark after this because do I know that for sure?
Nope.
No, we're using samples to estimate these things. Maddie, what happened to Tyler?
Went to the bathroom.
Okay. Now, when you make a judgment call, when you make a choice about what you think something might be, that is known as something being subjective. So this is a subjective sample, right? You chose, you can push the door, what you thought might be represented. Come on, where you been? Where you been?
I had to grab my body.
Okay. So, subjective sample. You chose what you thought might be representative. Okay? You chose it.
So that was
2.5 minutes late, huh? That is fine. We gotta get back quick.
Wait, so Mr. K, is that the definition of a subject sample?
You chose, so a subjective sample is when you or the researcher chooses what you think might be
Can you write down the
representative.
board, please, so I can write?
It's on the board.
It's right here.
Oh.
So a subjective sample, and we can move around the room in a little bit to be able to see it more clearly and take these notes. But next, by the way, what's the last sample that we have not covered yet? Simple random sample, okay. Now, here's where I need you to very clearly pay attention. I need everyone to turn on their calculator. Everybody needs to turn on their calculator. You need to create a calculator page. Okay? So if you hit home and you go to new documents, you don't ever need to save an old document. Do new document.
Hold on.
Create a new document.
Press 1 and what?
Create a calculator page.
Wait, hold on.
Dude, hit the home button, top right, under documents.
I did.
New. Create a new document. And it's going to ask you what type of document you want.
I'm pressing the same thing you talking about, but it's not there. Press 1, right?
Look, dude, hold on. It's literally loading. Okay. Alright, so when you create a calculator page here, okay, what I need us to do is I need us to actually pick random words. And so, first things first, if you want to do cool crap on these calculators, does anyone know what we need to hit? Hit the menu button, right? So if you want to do cool crap, hit the menu button.
Cool crap.
Cool crap. All the cool crap goes through what button, J-Mike? Menu, right. So does anyone see any of these options or maybe these symbols that might make me think about random stuff? What is right next to the probability word?
Arrow.
No, next to it. Sorry, this side. That's a die, right?
We should die.
Aren't dice random? We can't control them unless like we're real skilled at it, I guess. But overall, dice are random, right? So go to probability. Anybody see any options under probability that might be a good idea? Random. So under probability, create a calculator page, John. Menu, probability, and go to random.
Okay.
Help each other out.
It's someone.
Now,
I press random.
we are going to want, hear me clearly on this, we are eventually, hey, I think it's here. We're eventually going to want to do random integer. However, I said eventually. However, all calculators are still computer programs, and so what you actually need to do before you do a random integer is you actually need to seed the calculator. You only have to do it this one time, but go to seed down here. Okay? And all that seeding does, it starts the calculator at a new random number so that we all get different numbers, okay? So put your birthday in. So March 18th, 3/18, 1991. When you type that number in, just hit enter. When it says done, you are good. You need rand seed, not random integer. Rand seed. Help each other out if someone's stuck. Seed, number 6. Yep. And then put your birthday in.
You gotta come out. Come out, you need help?
It helps make it even more random, yes.
Okay, it's like personal. Okay, so you need help?
Alright.
Okay. Go to random.
Anyone not have theirs randomly seeded yet? We good?
The joke
Hit
is
enter now. Okay, once you type in random seed, hit enter. Okay. Now I actually need to generate how many different numbers? 5. I want 5 words, so I need 5 numbers, right?
You said
So,
and after we put in our birthday, right?
put in your birthday and hit enter.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. Now, hey J Mike,
Yo,
I want to do cool crap. So what am I going to do?
me,
I'm going to hit menu. Okay, so hit your menu button.
cool crap.
That's right. Now I want to generate some random numbers. So where am I going to go?
Probability.
Remember, we saw random under probability. Number makes sense, but remember how random is under probability.
Big bird.
Which one did I say we're going to want to use? We want random
Numbers.
integers.
Okay.
Because we want one of the words on that list, and so we need integer numbers. Random number only gives you a number between 0 and 1. Okay, so random integer. What is the lowest identifier for a word on that page? What is the lowest identifying number for a word on that page? Tosh? 1, right? The very first word is what? Yeah, right? So the lowest integer we can get is 1.
Okay.
Okay, so if we want the lowest, we probably also want the highest. Okay, before you type in the highest, under the pi symbol in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a comma. So you have to put the 1, then the comma, and what is the largest identifying number on
I'll probably
under
say
the pi
8.
symbol?
I'll probably say 8.
You know the company?
The largest identifying number for a word.
Oh.
Look at the very end of the song. What's the last word? The 610th word. Okay?
So put 600. Okay.
So we need a number between 1 and 610. And again, how many numbers do I want?
5.
I want 5 words, okay? So I'm going to hit comma again, and I'm going to hit the number 5. So the calculator is now going to generate 5 numbers between 1 and 610. And if you need help, I will pause in a second and come around to groups and help. But I want you to notice, okay? What I'm going to do is pick the 408th word, the 494th word, 276. So I'm not averaging those numbers. I need to find the 408th word, the 494th word, 276, 514, and even the 3rd word. So I pull up, this is America. Alright, so 408. And so look guys, if I need the 408, there's 2 ways for me to find it. Well, one, I did the list for every 2 lines. So the end of this line is the 408th word. Wow. The 494th word. 494th, so 488, so 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94 is the word man. So notice how I'm identifying the words associated with that number. Hold on one second, I'm coming around to the groups, okay? So I'm identifying the words associated with that number, and then what am I going to do with those words? What am I going to do with those words, y'all? I'm going to average the word length.
Okay.
Okay?
Go divide by 5,
So,
right?
do this for your 5 words. Help each other out, but I will also be coming around to support you, okay? So let me get my 5 words,
Who wants to write?
and then you're going to put the dot up here. Or on the... Maya, I saw your hand. I will be there in just 1 second.
Okay.
Give me some color.
Guys, I need you to pick your 5 words, and I need that average up here ASAP. So, this is our last round of it. Alright, Kamaya.
I'm trying to tell you, my calculator is old, I know it.
Huh?
My calculator is old, I know it.
Okay. If that ever happens, just turn it over. You have to
That's
reset
what
it.
I was doing. It was not in
Really? Even if you hold it down? If, if it's not doing that, just hold it down a little longer. It happens.
Hi, what do we know now? She said we.
I will say this, did you have the lead out like this? Okay. I would say, because it might have gotten caught here and not actually pressed the button.
Is you supposed to add up all the numbers? Is you supposed to add up all?
Remember, we're trying to find the average word length, right? So, find the letters for each of these, right? Yes, Cameron?
Do I use the same words you put on the board?
No, you gotta do your own 5 words. 1, comma, 610, right? We need numbers between 1 and 610, and we need 5 of them. So you need the 40th word, right? So the 40th word, 34, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. So there's your 40th word, 257. 254 is here, 54, 55, 56, 57. Find your 5 words, and then find the average word length. What do you need help with? Dude, did you generate your 5 words? You had 5 words.
So is this 63?
Did you actually identify your 5 words? No. From your 5 here, did you do these 5 words, the 189th word, the 481st word? Right? So the 189th. 180. Yeah, that's 189. Now find the rest of them. Find the average word length. Did you find the 288th word? Where?
Oh, your leg hurt. Oh, your leg hurt. Your leg hurt.
So you got 4, so this is them? Okay, oh, so you missed this earlier. If you put a decimal point, it's going to give you the average word.
Yes, and it's so annoying. John,
3 little walkers.
So your 330.
I want to feel like I'm smart. Hold on. What?
So 4, 3. What's that?
Y'all ain't on.
It's just very unusual with the decimal point.
You? How are you?
Put that average up on the board.
This can't be stuff here, right? Hold on, right here. On 600 to 600.
Hey,
I'm about to look at 605, right?
600, 601, 602, 603, 604, 605 is A.
I was doing like 6 on 1 now. You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
But A is 605.
Done.
So ladies and gentlemen, I need some averages up here. I need some more averages.
Yeah, my mama don't look at me.
Who did?
Hold on 1 second, I'll be there.
Damn.
It's not hard out here.
Yes.
Chad,
I made it.
3 little 1.6. No.
I didn't copy and have you over there.
So you can give it. You can give it. That nigga work hard. Be daddy.
You found all your work?
You my real nigga. Hey, that good shit, girl.
The new one, did you said put the stuff in your calculator? I think I pressed B. So when you walk out the cabin, so I can say. Okay, what's your birthday? 04, 608. Put this in
Those words.
Y'all should have seen me over some hours, but now I just oh God, I had a lot of people in school playing a little bit.
I get these numbers.
That's my last one.
No, I saw a whole bunch of about 15 people.
She gave him away there, but come on, Daddy. You better call her Big Daddy. Daddy.
Baby, daddy.
You gotta say, please, Big Daddy. But you gotta let somebody, please. You gotta let somebody be 40 though. You gotta let somebody be 40 though.
No, don't. Why you trying to
Because you did picture instead of C. You need to see first. Random C. Type that number and then random
Wait, did we do one person?
Free little hoe.
well, seed it first and then 1, 2, 10, 5. Okay. Let's bring it back together. I know we got a few more. 3.2 is one of them. Come by, let me know when you get yours.
Alright.
Okay? Okay? Do we have any more? Do we have any more that need to get up here? 3.6. Okay? Alright, any more final ones before we start talking about it? J Mike, you ready to focus?
Yeah, I'm focused.
Alright. Now, hey, listen to me on this, guys. Please, hey, listen. Please do not miss the point of this. I'm getting us to do something, but there's a concept that we need to learn out of this. Now, what type of sample did we just do? We literally use a random number generator, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
And so the word on the sheet is simple random sample. I'm okay if you just call it a random sample. Now, hear me clearly on this. Hey guys, listen. What'd you get?
I got 3.4.
And what did you put?
4.6 because he said 4.6. That's why I put it there.
So you got a 3.6? I'll just put 1 at 6.6. I got it. Go ahead and grab a seat. Okay.
In the camera corner.
Alright, listen. Hey, listen. I know that the mindset, listen, the mindset a lot of times is this, that if I randomly pick, then it's random. I need you to hear me clearly on this. Unless you use a random number generator, it is not random. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Listen to me again on this, though. I know that if you think, hey, I randomly picked something, it's not actually random. If you think you're randomly picking something, it's not actually random. What do you have to use in order for it to be random? Random number generator. So to have a random sample, we need to use a random number generated. Now, based on this set of data, what do you think my average word length might be? 3.6 is the most common, but remember,
Oh, 4.
I mean, like, what's right in the middle? Right around 4, right? So maybe a hair less than 4 because there's so much here, okay? So maybe a little bit less than 4. Now, we've done 3 different samples at this point. They've all given us different answers, haven't they?
Yup.
Are you ready to find out what the actual average word length is?
What is it?
3.9.
The actual average word length is
3.9.
3.934 letters per word. So, hey, pause for a second. I need you to hear me on this. This is the point. Actually, let me put this up. Again, remember, I had y'all doing something. Focus. I had you doing something. However, this is what we need to pay attention to. So, Deanna and Kamaya, pay attention to this really quickly. This is the point. Did the convenience sample actually get the average? It was close, but did it?
No.
No. Did the subjective sample actually get the average?
No.
It was pretty far off. In fact, why do you think the words that you chose were so far off? Because you what? You chose longer words, right? Like what words are your eyes attracted to?
The longer words.
The longer words, right? So is a subjective sample going to be representative?
No.
So both the convenience and the subjective samples are what? What do you call that? Yeah, but what's the term for that? Ah, they're both biased. Convenience samples, subjective samples, and volunteer samples are always going to be what?
Bias.
Biased. So do we want to use those type of samples?
No.
But look at your random. It's not perfect, but is that pretty darn close?
Yeah.
Because random samples are unbiased. Let me say that again. Random samples are unbiased, meaning their samples are what? What is that? What do we mean by they're unbiased?
They can go any type of way you want them to. Wait,
No,
hold on.
they are of
Yeah,
what?
representative.
Of the population. Random samples are unbiased, so they are representative of the population. That is the end of all things study design. You have selecting samples as a Frere model. I would get that out right now. I would do notes to your future forgetful self, and I would start looking at the check your understanding questions. Let's go.
You said where's that?
Where?
Selecting samples, check your understanding.
I have to talk.
We're keeping this out.
You can put that up. Hey, by the way, guys, how many of those concepts on the proficiency scale can we have checked off? Not necessarily. We have them all, but how many should we be able to?
At least 4.
All of them. Guys, we've covered every vocab term, every skill, every concept. So We need to do our check your understanding. We need to ask questions for things that we are stuck on.